This is a guide for backpackers going to Australia. It's a full guide that will cover everything you need to know before coming to Australia. Since I've been there myself as a backpacker, I have the experience you need. Let's start from the beginning. Before you arrive, you will have to acquire a working holiday visa. With this visa you can stay in Australia for a full year and you will be able to work during this time. If you'll work at the same place for a minimum of 3 months, you will be able to extend the visa for another year, so that you can stay for 2 full years. If you don't have this visa you can stay for 3 months, but you are not allowed to work. Look in the description for more info about this visa. When you arrive in Australia you will have to acquire a bank account and a tax file number. You can apply for a tax file number online. The bank account you will fix in Australia. There's a lot of banks to choose from. I chose Western Union. There are a lot of agencies that do this for you. They can even assist you with getting a job. The downside is that it will cost you a bit extra. One agency I recommend is Kilroy. You can also get your plane ticket with them. They have a lot of different packages to choose from. When it comes to traveling in Australia, it's very easy. There is information everywhere for backpackers since there are so many backpackers there. Check at the hostels for tours that are available, or ask the personnel. If you are planning to travel a lot, I recommend getting a bus pass. There are a lot of different bus passes available for backpackers in Australia, so you'll have a variety to choose from. Another option would be to buy a car and then sell it before you go home. This is a very convenient way to travel. Just be careful since you want to check if the car needs to be registered. It could be a problem if you have to register your car in another state. Since Australia is so huge, it could be a very long way to go. You might also have to apply to get an international driver's license. Even though you have a license, you might need this to be allowed to drive in Australia. Also remember that people drive on the left side. If you are planning to work, I recommend going to the countryside to pick fruits. I picked apples, lemons and other fruits down there. Just check into a working hostel on the countryside and they'll find work for you. You don't really have to do anything. I recommend trying to get commission if possible on the work. I got paid a certain amount when picking apples and lemons for every bin I filled. It was between $30 and $40 for every bin. You could make a lot of money if you are a fast picker. I would avoid picking fruits that grows close to the ground, such as pumpkins. This is a very tough job and bad for your back. If you have no shade, this would also mean that you will have to be exposed to the strong Australian sun for hours. This is a problem with fruits growing close to the ground. Beans and bell pepper are also in this category. When picking apples and lemons, the trees provide shade. Look out for some workplaces that gives you a low salary. Some employers tries to take advantage of backpackers that doesn't know how much you're supposed to get paid. Talk to other backpackers where you are, and ask them. If you plan on saving money down under, you can cook food in most hostels. Beer is expensive, but cheap bag-in-box wine is fine, if the taste is not the most important factor. I traveled along the East Coast, starting in Sydney. Sydney is a great city, where it's easy to get around with public transportation, and lots of options for backpackers. You can ask for work at the different hostels there. I got work in Sydney by the reception. I helped move furniture from an office. It is a great place to start your travels, where you can meet other backpackers from all over the world. I then traveled to the Gold Coast, which is beautiful. Surfers' Paradise is more modern, lots of parties. Byron Bay is more relaxed and have a more hippie feel. Another place I recommend is Imbi, spelled Nimbin. A hippie village outside of Byron Bay. There are bus tours from Byron Bay to Imbi, with a guide. Try surfing when in Gold Coast. There are classes that takes a few days. When it comes to dangerous animals, people usually think of snakes and spiders. Spiders are not as dangerous as they are made up to be. Nobody has died by a spider bite for around 40 years, as far as I know. Snakes are much more dangerous, and people die of those. The further north you get in Australia, the more dangerous the animals are, in general. Because of box jellyfish, it is not possible to swim in the ocean, in northern parts of Australia, for some months every year. They are mostly present between November and April. When you plan on going back home after your travels, remember that you can get tax back. Many people forget to claim this, including myself, but it can be a good sum of money. I wish you well on your trip down under. I am sure it will go well, and hope you will have a great time. Cheers.